Close your eyes and you will find yourself.
A couple of years back, I was surfing through Letterboxd when I came across the name Monkey Man. I was instantly intrigued as it mentioned Dave Patel as the director. I have been an admirer of his work since Slumdog Millionaire, so I immediately clicked on it, hoping to learn more about the project. However, the only information I could gather was that Dave was going to write, direct, produce, and even star in it. Apart from that, there was a stand in poster for the movie, which looked something similar to what you see on the screen right now. So, looking at this photo, I assumed he was going to make a feel good comedy film about maybe a brown boy in London like himself. But man, I was wrong. Earlier this year, Monkey Man resurfaced on my radar when a friend shared its trailer. He seemed extremely stoked by what he saw, and so was I as I clicked on the link. From the very first frame, I knew it was no feel good film. And by the time it ended, I was like, whoa, he really did write John Wick for himself. But I guess that's too reductive of a statement because there was a lot more going on in the trailer. Dave knew that nobody would expect a brown, lanky dude to play the lead in an out and out John Wick style commercial action flick. So he just wrote that role for himself. And I'm so glad he did because I finally managed to watch the movie last night and I really, really enjoyed it. Well, mostly.
There you are. You are a beast.
Now, without giving away too much, let's look at the story of Monkey Man. Well, it follows a familiar template where something terrible had happened to the protagonist in the past, so he's back with a vengeance to bring a semblance of justice. There is absolute clarity in who is good or bad in this film, and there is no room for grey. Dave drops you in the middle of his quest to exact revenge from Sikandar Khair's diabolical Rana, while we learn more about the past through flashbacks that haunt Dave's character. The film is a triptych of these three primary plot lines: Dave's and Rana's in the present, and the terrible visions from the past. This is pretty standard stuff, right? But what Dave does with this is that he injects Hindu mythology into the heart of this film and decorates it with striking Indian iconography. Dave sets the film in a fictional Indian city called Yatna, which according to Google translates to torture, or more specifically, torture by Yama, the ruler of hell. This symbolism is justified by the fact that Yatna is shown as a place with massive social inequality, where the rich pretty much controls and subjugates the poor. It reflects a more dystopian, almost Gotham like vision of Dharavi Mumbai. Now, harking back to Danny Boyle's Slumdog Millionaire, Yatna too has a network of people and systems that operate in the subterranean that assist Dev in his mission. The slum, an anti city within the city, is brought to life by these very people and systems. And in stark contrast to that, we see the rest of the city, an array of posh high rise buildings, among which is Rana's colossal kingdom of sin, a hotel where the elites of the country and abroad come for women and drugs. Similar to the 2012 Indonesian film The Raid, where the tactical squad had to ascend through different levels, Rana's hotel also has a system of hierarchy. Dave soon manages to infiltrate into the lowest level of the building, posing as a menial worker, thus setting the ball rolling. Now, let's talk about the craft. Well, it is hard not to reference John Wick when you see this film because it is the freshest example of what Dave has aimed for in Monkey Man. But the root of it all can be traced back to the wonderful Asian action cinema. Dave himself has mentioned films like The Raid, The Man from Nowhere, Old Boy as inspirations, along with Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee films, and that clearly shows in this film. Well, Monkey Man is almost like a pastiche of the works of his mentors and the films that have inspired him. You can see shades of Danny Boyle's dynamism and Neil Blomkamp's ability to make a $10 million film look like a $50 million one. And I think Dave even takes inspiration from something like Ryan Coogler's Black Panther. But even though Dave doesn't do anything inventive with Monkey Man, his directorial flair shines throughout the film. A vast majority of Monkey Man is intense and utterly chaotic, with frantic energy oozing from each shot. But amidst the madness of it all, he manages to sprinkle moments of playfulness, bringing in some levity to the story. Also, the film faced major challenges during production due to COVID, which forced Dave and his team to shift base to Indonesia from India. And you can tell from the casting of extras that the film wasn't shot in India. However, the production and costume design teams have done a tremendous job to conceal that as much as possible. Along with that, Hindi voiceover was very smartly placed in different parts of the film to give it a more authentic vibe. Now, Monkey Man is an action flick, so you would naturally expect good action sequences, right? Well, let me tell you, Dave delivers that with great style and control. The camera work is energetic and perfectly complements the action choreography. Dave and his cinematographer Sharon Meir adopt a rugged approach, employing lots of handheld shots and close ups, even utilizing devices like iPhones and GoPros. The much talked about low angle shots of the fight sequences are quite effective, as are the point of view shots used in this film, which are pretty similar to the 2015 action film Hardcore Henry. Both techniques seamlessly blend with longer takes and other well planned shot selections, some of which were symbolic and some stylish. The film also incorporates John Wick style neon inspired lighting, which, coupled with the saturated tones used in this film, gives it a gritty and grimy look. There are two scenes which I particularly enjoyed a lot. The training montage with Zakir Hussain, whose glimpse you have already gotten in the trailer, and the fight scene featuring Bloodywood's Dhanadhan, two absolute banger scenes. I must also add, Dave's choice of music is top notch. Now let's come to the narrative front. Well, there I thought the frequent flashbacks as a way to show the past didn't work as effectively for me. After the first few visions, I was able to gather the story, which made the rest of them seem very repetitive. Also, the emotional anchor that Dave was going for was not strong enough, in my opinion. To elaborate, John Wick used one of the most effective emotional thrusts to get the revenge arc rolling, which was the death of the puppy. Well, it is an unwritten rule in cinema that showing the death of a dog is a big no no. So, when that happened, we, the audience, were instantly shaken up by it. So much so that the symbol of the dog has become an inseparable part of John Wick. Similarly, in the Korean film The Man from Nowhere, the fatherless little girl became the emotional connection between the audience and the story. We rooted for the protagonist to succeed for the sake of the girl. Here, in Monkey Man, even though Dave used a backstory about a tragic mother son relationship, it felt lacking in his ability to develop a strong emotional attachment with the hero's cause. One good reason could be the fact that similar tropes are a staple in Indian cinema. But also, more importantly, I felt the backstory wasn't explored with enough depth and nuance and was simply glossed over. Well, the same can be said about most other aspects of the screenplay. Even the use of Indian iconography felt like a tightrope walk, with the balance tilting towards, stereotyping to pander to the Western audience. But it's Dave Patel, our brown knight, so he gets a pass. Well, the thing is, I could tell that all of that came from a place of love and admiration, and that his intentions were good. And that really shows in the way he deals with the politics of the film. Monkey Man not only deals with the topic of social inequality, but also the marginalization of trans community, and more controversially, the influence of godmen and the weaponization of religion or spirituality for mass manipulation. I like how he showed religious mythology as a source of strength and courage, a guide rather than a set of rules. Dave's character was inspired by it, not governed by it. Religion, in my opinion, should be such. The moment you commodify, politicize, and weaponize it, you take away its essence. Dave doesn't really dive deep into it, but touching upon a subject like that in the current political climate is a big deal in itself, especially for a Patel. I wonder how many awkward family dinners he had to attend since the film came out. Jokes aside, I think Dev Patel has made a commendable effort in making something he's passionate about. Monkey Man, even with its narrative shortfalls, is quite entertaining. Dave's screen presence and performance are absolutely great, and so are the performances of all the cast members. Well, it is pretty clear from this film that Dev Patel can direct. Well, I cannot wait to see what he does next.